This podcast contains explicit content.
You are listening to Hardly Focused. Dissecting the news one tangent at a time.
When there's nothing left to burn, you have to set yourself on fire.
Hey, welcome to Hardly Focused. Nate Fillers, Jack Gill. You can get us at hardlyfocused.com. We are on your favorite podcast app. We are on YouTube. Just search for Hardly Focus. And if you feel like it, no pressure. You don't have to do this. But if you want, you can always reach out to us at Hardly Focused at hardlyfocused.com/contact. That's where you can send us.
I'm say hi or whatever.
Yeah, you can send us whatever. hardlyfocused.com/contact. Nate Fillers, hello, and how are you?
I'm doing great. I recently discovered something that's very life-changing. I realized that if I slide my documents on one side of my computer and then another one on the other side, I can have a split screen and I can do things and it organized, and my life is completely different now. So now I have the Zoom over here, and then I have like the spreadsheet, the document that we're talking about over here, and I have a monitor up here. I'm in the future.
You are in the year 2007, I want to say, when that might have been introduced. Maybe it was 2000. Yes. I can't remember. It was either Windows Vista or Windows 7 when such a technological marvel was introduced to the world. And something else you can do, Nate, is there's a software you can download called, I believe it's called Power Tools, and or Power Toys. It's one of those, but it lets you. This doodad lets you Power Toys, but of the many things included in the service, one of them is setting up like a grid-like system across your monitors. So you can do the side-by-side if you so wish, or you could cut your monitor into quadrants and have 4 windows up there.
Like a GoldenEye? Like back in the day when you would split it in half, and you would always cheat by looking down at the screen below to see where the other person was, and that's how you would be good.
Slappers only.
Slappers only. And odd job.
Yeah, Power Toys, and the thing within is called Fancy Zones. I will send you a thing for it later.
Awesome. I'm learning all sorts of stuff. 2007 is going to be a good year, baby.
It's coming clutch for my setup, for having so many windows open as we record things. So you can imagine, it's made my life a lot easier.
I got to get one tab. So that, because I have that anxiety of closing tabs. I just I don't have an absurd amount. I think I only have like maybe 14.
Do you use
Google? Count?
What's your browser of choice? Is it Google Chrome?
Yeah.
If you ever close, well, there's a couple of things you can do.
Yeah. The history. Yeah. But there's sometimes where that's screwed me over and my life was ruined forever.
Control-Shift-T comes in clutch, and then set your startup tabs. So whenever you open up your browser, you have everything right there that you need.
Nothing in my tabs is important. It's just all just like
porn
for my sake of mine. Not even that, man. I wish it was, because that would be like funnier. But it's really just like I have a bunch of different writing documents because I'm like writing stuff all the time.
Sure.
And I have one side so I don't want to get too far into this because it's kind of it feels gross, but I'm writing a book. We'll talk about it sometime. But anyway, I have my notes on one side of the computer and I have my book on the other side, so I can like keep track of everything and I can organize everything.
Okay.
So things are great. Things are amazing.
I'm glad that you're trying to be organized.
I am.
Can't make fun of someone.
As you look behind me, there's a exercise bike. There's some garbage, and there's like some like clothes. I'm having a hard time do it. Yeah, there we go. It's like backwards. But yeah, I'm organizing. I have like a cat like throw behind me. I'm doing,
and somewhere an actual cat.
Going place. Yeah, I'm going two cats. That's my rapper name.
Now, back to GoldenEye.
Oh, absolutely.
What was your favorite level in GoldenEye?
The facility.
Okay, I agree.
It's kind of like
that's the one with like the green sliding doors, right?
Yeah, it's kind of. I think that's what it's called. It's been a couple days since I have played GoldenEye on the Nintendo 64.
Did you ever play the single player, or did you only play the multiplayer?
I didn't know there was a single player.
Oh, indeed, there is a single player.
No, I played it. I played the single player. That was just for the lulz. But I always found fighting against my friends to be more fun.
I wonder how many people didn't know that the game was based off of a film, also called GoldenEye.
Yeah, I don't know. I would say there's a huge portion out there because, I mean, there's a lot of people that don't know Nirvana was a band.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
They just think it's like a shirt brand or something.
Oh,
so
God. We are hitting that point in our lives where there's a sizable amount of the population, the human population, that was not alive when 9/11 happened.
Yeah.
And
that's going to happen.
Yeah, but it's freak that for us. I think that's like
freaky
for us in our age group and as adults. That's our like come to Jesus moment, I guess, is realizing that that we're like our parents. Does that make sense? Because like our parents, lived through what? I mean, my parents were around for the Kennedy assassination, and
which was probably very jarring.
Yeah, absolutely. And I remember them comparing 9/11 to that. My grandparents comparing 9/11 to Pearl Harbor because they were around for that. So then but then obviously it's not going to have Pearl Harbor, not going to have the same impact that it had on my parents. The Kennedy assassination, not going to have the same impact for me as it did on my parents. And then now it's like, I look at my cousin's kids, for example, because they're teenagers. And 9/11 is just something that you read about in the history books. They're not going to know a time when you could just go to the airport with 5 minutes to spare and be on the plane and have someone hug you right at the terminal.
Yeah, I think there's a huge portion that's going to be missed in like the history books of like an entire part of 9/11 was the psychological aspect. I think like that played just as much of a role as anything else. You had like all of a sudden nobody knew what was going on, and it was just like weird because it's kind of like what happened with this virus that happened, like in the 2020. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say the word
that thing.
That thing.
Yeah.
It had like everybody felt unsafe everywhere because it was like we didn't know what was going on. I think it's a little bit different nowadays because now if something happens, like you almost hear about things happening before they happen. Like things that aren't even news stories are being reported, like because they could potentially be news stories or like they could potentially be something big. Whereas before this is like, hey, just a heads up, this thing happened. And you're like, whoa, what? But now it's like, okay, this thing could happen.
Yep.
It might happen. Like even if you look at like the pandemic, man, like so many people were saying that this shit's gonna happen. It's like everyone was like, Bill Gates was like, it's happening soon. And people were like, okay, Bill Gates. And then it happened. And then they're like shocked Pikachu.
I had jokingly said for years we were overdue for a good plague, and then plague happened.
I'm not saying it wasn't like surprising. It definitely was. By no means, because this show has it documented of me fucking losing my goddamn mind over the pandemic. So it's just like it clearly had an effect on me.
Wasn't just you, bro. It wasn't just you.
I'm saying that's crazy because we had warning signs, and like it's just like, the way that that airports changed. I think now that's how we're gonna take the science now. Like at least half of us don't agree that science exists. That's fine. Those people can do whatever they want, I guess.
Science doesn't exist, Nate. The Bible is why we are here.
That's true.
The Lord our God is why we are here. The world is only 2023 years old, Nate. And also it's flat.
Oh, of course.
You stupid prick.
Yeah, I mean, shame on me. I mean, yeah. But you know what I'm saying, it's like I feel like now we're going to take like warning signs a little bit more seriously, because like we were all like, we're not ready for a pandemic, and we're like, just like, there doesn't need to be airport security. It's fine. And then like all of a sudden it's like, okay, so we'll see what happens. But I think the biggest thing that's different nowadays is that I see a lot of things being reported preemptively now. So it's like, it's almost going to be hard to like sort through what we should focus on and what it's just like.
And what we're hardly focusing on. Yeah. You're not wrong, because I do want to talk about this at some point, but here in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, all you're hearing about in the news right now is the disappearance of Ana Walshe. And when that happened, now this started being discussed early in January, but you were seeing it make the rounds on social media, but the news wasn't talking about it. And this is, you put on your tinfoil hat, people, the mainstream media, blah, blah, blah. But seriously, no one, like the people that should have been talking about it were overlooking it, because it was just a woman that some rando woman that disappeared. And now it got enough steam, I think, just now that it's all you're hearing about. Not to mention that the main suspect, the husband, is a complete donkey, and we'll talk about that as well. We have audio. Oh God, this is some platinum audio, let me tell you. But that was a story before it was a story, and there were people out there saying you need to pay attention to this. This is a big deal. Now again, it sounds like one of those conspiracy theorists or someone, an election truther, who try to decry these things. But that's just an example that comes to mind. A recent example, a local example, I guess it's gone national. It was on the front page of Reddit. It was on the front page on I believe it was Watch People Die Inside. The audio.
Reddit's a strange place.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's another place that you can typically get the news before it's news, is on Reddit.
Yeah. It's weird. We live in really strange times. We're always going to be living in strange times, but I think the fact that like there's so much bullshit thrown at us and we're like, what is real? Like that is absurd. If you went back in time and you're like, all right, there's going to be more information than ever. Okay, good. Most of it's going to be fake, and you have to figure out which one's real. Like, wait, you mean like parody news? No, actual news is going to be reporting things. It's like, oh.
Yeah, but we're getting to the point now where sometimes articles that pop up on The Onion, I have to do a double take because I think I'm reading something real. Or vice versa.
Right? Exactly. There's like so many things where like that's why The Onion works. It's like you look at it, you're like, this is real. Oh wait, no, it's not. The only thing that alerts you that it's not real is that it has an onion logo. But the title checks out. Everything else checks out. I mean, like, no, this is probably real.
I mean, here's a great example of when you think you're reading an Onion article and it turns out to be real news.
Here to weigh in, DJ Pauly D.
That's when you know it's bad.
Yep.
That's when you know we're fucked.
I put a sock down here when I tan.
Yeah, it's not all bad though. You can drag your documents on one side of your computer and then it can
so
we have fun here.
I'm just going to ask this now.
Sure.
Is it at this stage, is it bad if I continue to play sound drops from All Gas No Brakes in Channel 5, or do I scrub the soundboard?
This could be a whole episode, because like that's one of the things that I try to wrap my brain around so often is like, now that you have information about something or someone, does it affect what you've done in like, or like your relationship with it in the now? Like, it's weird, right? Because All Gas No Brakes, yeah, it provided a lot of good content for sure. But now it's almost like if you're representing it, you're representing what he did.
Yeah. For the unaware now, for about 2 years now, we've been featuring clips from All Gas No Brakes, and now it's current incarnation Channel 5. It's both YouTube channels hosted by this guy Andrew Callaghan, and I mean, there's been some great content on there.
Yeah.
And now on HBO Max, you can watch This Place Rules, which is a feature-length documentary by Mr. Callaghan. However, right maybe like 2 weeks after that documentary dropped, he got Me Too'd. And he has since, I think like his lawyer released a statement, and he posted a video of him, I guess, admitting to the allegations, like not necessarily denying them, but now it's like, oh, okay, so what does this mean now? Is he canceled? Do I continue to support him? Do I continue to play the sound drops that we've been playing on the show? Because the audio that we've been playing is not of Callaghan, it's of the people that he interacts with.
Yeah.
So he wasn't really doing anything, if you think about it. I mean, on his channel, I mean, he wasn't really doing it. He's just going around just filming people. There was obviously a thematic element to it, but the content was the people that he was talking to. All Callaghan needed to do was just shut up and post it on YouTube.
I think as far as damage goes, it's very little. Like playing just like a sound clip, it's like, oh, they can't play a sound clip from this because it's supporting him. Even like J.K. Rowling, like first of all, let me dial it back and say, man, she's a bitch.
She is a bitch,
but
she's overrated.
She's also entitled to her opinion, but also like she's kind of wrong in a lot of her opinion. So it's weird, but I don't think like turning your back on like the Harry Potter series is really going to do anything. Like, I don't see exactly how that's going to be like, oh, well, I'm not supporting her because she's a piece of shit. Okay, well, there's that. But really, in the grand scheme of things, you're not really like, she's not done. Like, she's not like going to return to poverty because of her opinion. And then, like, I think that's what everybody's expecting is like this mass, like everybody's just going to stop supporting her and she's going to go poor again. And then she's going to have to make a statement saying I was wrong. Like somehow we can manipulate her opinion back to like the right one. And I don't know, it's weird because for me, the things she writes, like non-book wise infuriate me, because it's just like, you're just being an asshole at this point.
Is it the difference between like a conservative political pundit coming out against transgender people versus an author who at one point was, and I guess arguably still is, influential to young adults?
I think that's like the thing that makes it so chaotic, is that the influence part, and that she could take the better road of like being like a shining example of like support and everything like that. But she's also now like feeding the flames of hate and all of that stuff. So I think when it comes to like supporting canceled people, it's a tricky one. And like I said, I think about this fucking daily. Like, I'm like, I don't know whether I could, like, CK was one of my favorite comedians.
Right.
And it's like, now there's like this feeling of like, now if you say like you love CK, you went to his shows or support him in any sort of way, that you also support what he did. And it's like, I agree, but I also am like, it's not the same thing. It's not saying like, I'm not, you know what I'm saying? I know somebody out there is going to like cancel me for this, but all I'm saying is, it's like, it's a difficult choice to make. I'm not saying like these people didn't do wrong shit. I'm just saying, like, what is the goal? Like, you're not supporting them. Okay. But like, they're still doing fine.
You brought up a good point earlier in that people, and I agree with you on this, is that people seem to think if you cancel a figure, a celebrity, if you cancel them, then they're going to immediately fall into poverty and everything is taken away from them. And it really doesn't work that way. Like,
no, it doesn't do anything.
Like, yeah, it might, it's all obviously going to alter their future. Let's look at Kevin Spacey, for example. That dude has not, his acting career is done. He will never appear in another major motion picture or anything, despite the fact that he won an award, like a Lifetime Achievement Award in Italy recently. But
yeah,
he's never going to appear in anything major ever again. But that's not going to stop his income and his royalties. He is still going to be richer than anyone else. And I think that's what angers a lot of people, is that someone like him is still going to have all that money and he's still going to have all that recognition. What has happened does not wipe them off the face of the earth. You can certainly halt their progression, their forward progression, but it doesn't necessarily erase their achievements and their career achievements.
Yeah, but I could accept it in a way it seemingly does, because now everybody has like this like tread lightly like on everything. Like, you can't say like American Beauty is a good movie,
but it is a good movie.
I'm just saying, right. Like, you know, like it's really weird, man. I don't even know how to like articulate my feelings for it, because it's so bizarre. Because it's like, okay, now if I say like I'm a Harry Potter fan, like people are like, that's a cancelable offense. Whereas before it was just, I was a Harry Potter fan, you know. Like, it's like it snowballs a little bit. Like everything that is associated with that becomes like a cancelable offense. And then it's going to get to a point where like everything is like connected. Like, you know, like the 7 Degrees of Kevin Bacon is going to be like that with cancel culture. It's kind of scary, especially in the world of comedy, because like words are always changing. They're changing so fast to the point we don't even know what anything means anymore. like the dictionary had to change the definition of literally. So I'm just saying, like, words are constantly changing. Nobody knows what anything means. And that's why everybody's getting offended, because nobody knows.
I love seeing the discourse from the nerds, the video game fans like myself, because my former employer at some point this year is releasing Hogwarts Legacy.
Right.
And there's already a good number of keyboard warriors out there boycotting the game simply because it's a J.K. Rowling creation. It's based off of her IP. And my former employer has pretty much distanced themselves from her, and they've released statements saying we don't condone, we don't support, we don't align with her opinions. They still got a product to release, but now it's like this, it's one of the first, not one of the first big things to come out since she went and said what she said, but it's like one of the first new things, right? Because we still had a Fantastic Beast movie, which, by the way, those things are terrible. Those Fantastic Beast movies. I really hope they don't make any more.
I'm sorry. I tried. I gave them a shot.
I mean, like, you're going to try to make 7 movies out of a book that's 10 pages long? Okay, great idea.
The Hobbit.
So
the Hobbit was arguably bigger.
arguably. Some might say.
But we'll say the Polar Express.
Okay.
What are you, the Polar Express?
Oh my God. Don't, nightmare fuel. The Polar Express. Pure nightmare fuel.
You talking about that kid with the glasses?
Yes. Who I believe was played by Eddie Deason, who himself is a creep. But
I got one of those points.
So anyway, yeah.
I just touching up on this real quick is I don't think like it's weird, right? Because all right, you this was all because you were wondering if you could play a sample from All Gas No Brakes. Let's set up a scenario of you did actually play the sample, or
just a sound. I mean, I
sound drop.
Yeah, I could do it.
Let's just say you did it, and what's that going to do? Like unearth somebody like who wasn't like. So, do you want to explain like what he's been accused of?
Sexual assault.
Okay.
Rape. Not knowing what the word "no" means.
Right. Okay. So, setting up a scenario, you play the sound drop. And then one of the listeners is like, well, I wasn't for like sexual violence or rape or anything like that. I wasn't, but like now that I heard the sound drop, like I might change my mind. Like, or like the fact that J.K. Rowling is so anti-transgender. If someone's like, I really like transgender people, but because J.K. Rowling doesn't, I think I have to change. Those people are already set in stone. They already made their decision of where they're standing. So it sucks because it does fuel the hate. But those people are going to hate regardless. They're not going to just be like, okay, I really don't like these people, but because the author that I read the books of once likes them, I guess I won't hate them. That doesn't happen. So it's what I'm asking for. Like, I would love somebody to reach out to me and be like, this is what happens. Like, because I want to know exactly what it does and what it happens. Because I don't know. Because on one hand, you don't cancel them. They don't lose their job. They don't become poor. They don't woe is me and change their ways. But also at the same side, like, it doesn't influence that behavior. That behavior is already out there. Somebody's not going to be like, okay, I like I've already said, like, people are going to be like, well, I thought jerking off in front of people is kind of weird and gross, but since my favorite comedian did it, I guess it's okay. That doesn't happen. You either like have that set in stone of like, it's fine to do whatever you want, or you're like, you have morals.
All right. Yeah. So if you do want to reach out to Nate, hardlyfocused.com/contact. Or if I play this from, I think it was technically All Gas, No Brakes when he goes to Burning Man. I didn't even need to give context behind that. I didn't need to say it was from All Gas, No Brakes. I could have just said it was some lady at Burning Man or
My name is Pineapple.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I think it's important to note that I think it's crucial that we question these things and we get it out there instead of being like, oh, I'm afraid to talk about it because I don't want to seem like I'm rooting for them or supporting them in any sort of way, because then you don't get a perspective given to you. Like somebody could be like, oh, there's like one side that I could completely be missing. And by me putting this all out there, somebody could contact me and be like, let me explain it from my perspective. And then it's like, okay, that's what I wanted. That's great. That's how we move forward. We don't move forward by being like, I have to make sure I say everything safe because I don't want people to learn. And that's why I fucking hate cancel culture, because it's gotten a lot of people scared to talk and ask questions, because by asking questions, you're learning, but people also throw you under the bus for asking questions. So it's like,
well, let me ask you what you think about this. The band Dance Gavin Dance right now is on tour in the UK, and they've played a few shows thus far. It is their first tour since their frontman, Tillian Pearson, rejoined the band after getting Me Too'd last year and stepping away from the band to go to rehab. And he's since returned to the band. He has denied the allegations against him, and they are simply moving forward, promoting the album that they put out right at the same time that he got Me Too'd. The attempted cancellation.
Yeah.
Is that like, what do you think about that? That's moving on? Is it not?
Yeah, like I said, like even bigger cases. CK won a Grammy. Was it a Grammy? An Oscar? Well, I can't remember what he won.
Well, a Grammy will be
Grammy.
That's the music award, right?
Yeah, I think he won a Grammy for a comedy album.
Okay.
Something. I don't get things 100%. Whatever. Who cares? But the point is he got an award. Gance Davin Gance. I think the bridges that are burned, and that's its own consequence.
It hasn't stopped people from showing up. The shows are lit. Everything I've been seeing on YouTube and social media, the pictures they've been posting, I mean, they've had no issues with this tour. Especially with I mean, people were going to see the shows when he wasn't in the band, when Tillian wasn't in the band, and they're going to see him now that he's back. And there's people out there grumbling about it, but no one's like showed up at a venue and started hucking things at him.
I don't know what people are expecting is supposed to happen. Are they supposed to just die? Like they're just not supposed to do anything ever again? Like they're not allowed to have money to buy food? Like,
yeah. And that's still,
it's like, oh, they can't have a job.
And that still wouldn't satisfy people. Like if they just died, that wouldn't be enough.
No, it wouldn't. But like, it all depends on how much you hate the person, for sure. Like how much it enrages you. I don't really care much for Dance Gavin Dance. Like I've heard maybe one or two songs, but I wasn't really like a hardcore fan, so I can't really like give you an accurate like.
Well, I mean, I'm a fan of their old stuff when Johnny Craig was their front man, and I mean that guy's really no better. So
yeah, I mean I can even talk about like Mindless Self-Indulgence. Like I haven't been able to listen to Mindless Self-Indulgence.
Well, what the hell's that guy's name? Jimmy Urine? Yeah, I mean, what do you expect?
I mean, it's not because like I don't want to give him money. It's just every time I listen to him, I associate it with that. So it's just like it's just kind of awkward.
Do we cancel Justin Roiland because of the
what he did? Yeah,
which happened years ago. It's just coming to light now.
Yeah, it's tricky, man. I don't have answers. I wish I did, because like this shit fascinates me and bothers me. Because at the same time, I'm on everybody's side of like, fuck them. They shouldn't have any power. They shouldn't have any influence over the world. They're toxic. They're gross. They're disgusting. At the same time, I'm like, well, what are they supposed to do? They fucked up, and like now, like they like go farm or something, like then you'll be angry about vegetables and it's or like produce.
But vegetables angry me.
You're like,
angry me. Anger.
I don't support carrots anymore because so and so person. But
Angry me. Angry now.
It's strange, man, because everybody's fucked up. Everybody's done something because we're all learning. None of us know what we're doing. So of course we're all going to fuck up, man.
I've said it before, say it again. Accountability. Are you accountable for your actions? Can you
Am I accountable for my actions? That's what it's. No, I'm just that's jokes.
Well, speaking of stupid people, incredibly stupid people, let's do this.
Hardly Focused presents.
Do you finger your own asshole just to smell your own shit? Like, I don't get it. How fucking dumb are you?
We talked about this earlier. Big market tease. Here we go. Local news. Ana Walshe, not yet found, but her husband, Brian Walshe, now, I believe, has been charged with murder. Initially, he was arrested for covering up evidence or interfering with an investigation, but now the fingers are just being pointed at him. And this is, I guess, if ever you feel like you're just stupid, if you just sit back and you say to yourself, I'm just an idiot. I'm just an imbecile. I have low IQ. I have the intelligence of a salad bar. I enjoy eating at Applebee's. If ever you feel that way, just remember that Brian Walshe, using his son's iPad, Google searched many things related to murder and how to get away with murder. And I'm not talking about the television show, How to Get Away with Murder. I'm talking about the actual concept, the question. Basically using the internet to question, if I kill my wife, will I get away with it?
Did he use incognito mode?
No.
Rookie.
Well, see, here's the thing. Now this is...
It's so fucked up.
I'm not like the most technologically sound individual out there, but I'm sure there's still a way to have that data somewhere, even if you're in Incognitus mode.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It still goes. It even says it on when you open up an incognito tab. It says like it is still visible to your provider and everything. It just doesn't like cook. I don't actually even know what it does.
It's porn though. It's literally just that. Just so that's the results. Like if you go to Pornhub.com, it doesn't show up in your search history.
In your history, yeah.
So that way,
that's like all it does.
It's so what incognito mode, what private browsing mode does is it eliminates the step that we as adolescents always had to take when using the family computer. Going to the history tab, deleting the things that are weird. It was always a process. And if you realized after the fact, later that evening, when your father is sitting at the computer doing whatever it is he would do at the computer, oh, I didn't want to know, but I didn't want him to type in any URL that began with the number 8, because you know what would come up? 89.com.
Yeah.
Which still exists, by the way.
I'm going to share with everybody what I did so that they could go back in time and maybe do what I did. I waited until it was midnight, like so that I could clear everything from the day. So I didn't have to like go through it individually and like go through and like find everything, and just like I could just clear the entire day history.
Okay, that's not bad. That's a way of doing it.
Yeah. So those of you who don't know about incognito, there you go.
But now we have it. I mean, it's, you can
right.
even
But if you don't know about it,
right. Apparently this guy didn't know that.
You started the episode right now, like before we explained it.
Yeah. You should call it like amnesia mode or something like that.
Yeah.
Would that be offensive? Is that not politically correct? Amnesia mode?
No, I don't think it is. We can't do the show anymore.
So from Boston.com, the day after his wife Ana Walshe was last seen, Prosecutors allege Brian Walshe asked Google, quote, "Can you be charged with murder without a body?" A rookie. You want to talk about rookie mistakes? He could be using Bing. He could be using Yahoo. He could be using Ask Jeeves. Is Alta Vista still around? What did we have to use back in school? Do you remember there was a search engine?
Ask Jeeves.
It wasn't Ask Jeeves. It was like a, and I don't think it was Alta Vista, but we had to use some sort of search engine that was like specifically for MLA citations. Do you remember that?
I'm trying to remember what it was. All I can remember is the card catalogs from the library.
Oh yeah. Why doesn't this dude just walk into a police station and pose the question? Or why wasn't he smart, like, or trying to be smart, poser smart, like, oh my God, why am I blanking on his name? The Moscow murderer guy, Brian, going out and literally conducting a study, giving a survey to prisoners, asking them how they did it. Brian Koberger. Yeah, there's many ways of going about it, but no. Brian Walshe uses his son's iPad.
Counterpoint. How are you supposed to know these answers? How are you supposed to get these questions answered? No, it's a very stupid thing to Google, especially when like you're under fire.
Yeah.
Like I think like even myself, like I write a lot of jokes and a lot of stuff, and I do a lot of research, but I've listed, can you blow up a gas station with static electricity? Because I was like anxious that like my sweater was going to blow, like I was going to blow myself up at the pump. But from like the FBI standpoint, they just looked up, I mean, of course I worded it terribly. I could have worded it. I have anxiety about my sweatshirt at the gas station. Should I be worried? But no, I straight up said, can I blow up a gas station?
Yeah. I mean, that's one way to get yourself put on a list, I guess.
I'm certainly on a list. And that's the trouble with anxiety, is you're going to be on a list.
Well, you've heard
this, then triggers your anxiety because you're like, what?
We've heard the story about how when I went to Florida, the first time I went to Florida, and I like scanned my boarding pass and my name came up on a list. And it's never been a problem.
Did you try again?
Oh, shut up, you stupid bitch.
Did you say list?
I haven't worn my Apple Watch in weeks. And now I remember why I don't wear it. Because all I have to do is put my hand anywhere close to my mouth, and Siri just starts, she records the last 120 seconds of what I've said. And here we are talking about like Google searching murder, and Siri's recording all of it. Anyway,
so now like Siri has recorded you saying, can I be charged with murder?
Right. Yeah. No, anyway, there's a period of time where I apparently was on some sort of watch list, and it's never come up again. But that time flying, it was my first time flying in like 4 years, I think. So boy, was that a fun conversation to have. My first time also flying since turning legal age. So
go explain this to somebody who hasn't flown. Floated. Anyone who has never been airplane did.
Yeah. Now this is going back to 2008, so my memory's just a wee bit foggy, but I believe it was at TSA once you get like at the security gate, and giving them my ID and giving them my boarding pass, and then my name just like was on a list, and it wasn't like me specifically, it was my name was on a list of, I don't know if it was like a do not fly list or like a special extra scrutiny, give them the works cavity search.
Or check out this podcast.
Yeah. At the time,
Could be
I think
anything.
Yeah,
Could be good thing.
we're going back to the Yak and Jack era at that point. But yeah, it was like, I'm talking like the, shove your wrist so far up the person's ass that it comes out their mouth level of cavity search.
He has a crevasse that,
But it wasn't me. It wasn't me because the argument was he's a kid. What the hell's he going to do? But it made it's why you show up to the airport 2 hours early, because then you can when those things come up. Yeah, when those things come up, you can then use that extra time to square it away. But
noted.
So have you never flown? You've never flown before?
I flew when I was like a freshman in high school, and I think before that I was in 4th grade.
Okay.
Both to Florida. So,
okay.
But it didn't involve anything like that. The most I had to do was get medication. Calm the fuck down.
Yeah, I fly almost annually now, so like I've never had any issue like this ever come up again. I mean, the last time I flew, I got COVID. So, I mean, if that's the worst thing going on, then I'll take it. But anyway,
so this guy is under investigation for disappearance of his wife, and he Googles that. That's where we are in the story, correct?
Correct. Walshe,
how fucking dumb are you? No, that's really bad.
So
that's
the article here says from Boston.com, in court, prosecutor Lynn Beland, mouthful of marbles, as you'll hear, rattled off a list of Google searches they say Brian Walshe made, some on his son's iPad, in the days after the Cohasset mother of 3 was last seen in the early hours of New Year's Day. Here is the audio of the Google searches being read off.
On January 1st, defendant Googled using his son's iPad. Some of the searches are as follows. Keep in mind that the defendant said he left at 6 a.m. At 4:55 a.m. on January 1st, he searched how long before a body starts to smell. At 4:58 a.m., how to stop a body from decomposing. At 5:20 a.m., he searched how to embalm a body. At 5:47 a.m., 10 ways to dispose of a dead body if you really need to. At 6:25 a.m. on the 1st, how long for someone to be missing to inherit. At 6:34 a.m. on the 1st, can you throw away body parts? At 9:29 a.m., what does formaldehyde do? At 9:34 a.m. on the 1st, how long does DNA last? At 9:59 a.m., can identification be made on partial remains? At 11:34 a.m., dismemberment and the best ways to dispose of a body. At 11:44, how to clean blood from wooden floor. At 11:56 on the 1st, luminol to detect blood. At 1:08, what happens when you put body parts in ammonia? At 1:21 p.m., is it better to throw crime scene clothes away or wash them? Those were on the January 1st. There was also information gained from the defendant's phone, which showed on January 2nd he was at Home Goods in Norwell, where he purchased 3 rugs.
What the fuck? So when you first described the story, I was just under the impression that it was just like the one thing, but he went for every single detail possible.
I can no longer play this in a joking manner.
Hello. Yes, this is Robert Kelly. Yes, the singer. You want my social security number? Sure. It's 916-34-7865. Okay. God bless.
Well,
I love this part.
What does formaldehyde do?
It's so weird that he like went for every single step.
Right.
Like Like, I know we have this is why I don't fully dive into the show prep, because I love being fascinated by this shit in front of people live. Just like the fact that you just Google all this different stuff.
Yeah.
Like, what did you think was going to happen?
Mm-hmm.
Like, he must have been in incognito mode. He must have thought that none of this was like he was safe.
I mean,
because I can't believe that somebody would be doing something and then also looking up the things.
I mean, you've seen the photos of him getting whisked away by police. He's staring at the camera with a big shit-eating grin, like he thinks he's gonna get away with it. I mean, it's obvious the dude killed his wife.
Well, it's very clear.
So, I mean, it was obvious from the get-go. But then this comes out.
The searches.
Yeah, there's the irrefutable evidence at this point. You don't have a defense. And you can't Ron Jeremy either. It's he's just, the guy's an idiot.
Yeah.
He's guilty. He did it. Oh, what a maroon.
I mean, the fascinating part is just the fact that he had so many questions.
He should have just watched Breaking Bad.
Or something, you know, like...
Yeah, a plastic tub, hydrofluoric acid, and...
Well, it sounds like he did. He's like talking about formaldehyde and stuff.
Yeah, but you don't... remember, don't use the ceramic bathtub. Acid eats through it, but it won't eat through plastic. Like, you didn't... There's that one scene, there's a guy that, on Breaking Bad, gets murdered, and they shove him into one of those, like, tall blue... barrels, and then they just start pouring in the acid, and then that's it. That's all she wrote.
I feel like they left out important steps for sure, because they did that with the making of the meth. Like, they made sure that they didn't include every single part so that people couldn't learn how to make meth from watching the show.
I mean, that's the smart thing, sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure it didn't stop people, though.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. I think that's like the theme of this episode. Is like, it's not going to stop it from, I don't know. I feel so powerless, Jack. There's no power that we actually wield.
Well,
we're just puppets.
I mean, that's where we're at right now, is that, that's where we're at right now, is this dude, I said it earlier, he's on Reddit, he's on front page of Reddit for having all these, having all his Google searches read out loud to him. But
this is kind of like if O.J. Simpson wrote the book before he, you know, because like, you know, the whole book, it's like what I would have done. Like, because it seemed like he was like almost like time stamping his process. It's like, oh, is it bad if like the hand falls off? Or it's like, okay, like how long before, you know?
There's also more evidence that they've found in the last couple of days, including a lot of blood-stained items, a hacksaw and a hatchet. Oh, and the guy went to he went to Home Depot and he bought like trash bags, like large trash bags.
Oh yeah, I think my favorite was do I wash the clothes or do I throw them out?
You burn them.
Like,
Jesus Christ, dude!
I'm like, oh my god, like.
Did you see the other night? There was like this big police presence somewhere on the North Shore at a beach, and like the medical examiner showed up. The FBI was there. It was a big thing. And then they ended up just determining it was like fish bones. It was like,
oh wow,
it was just like the leftovers of like a dead fish. But it was,
oh wow!
But because they found the bones, they ended up like for like 4 or 5 hours cordoning off that section of the beach, and
we have to
helicopters
check
everywhere.
The entire ocean.
Yeah,
I think, I don't know. Like, It's sorry. It's so random, man. But I'm trying to keep my mouth shut because like there's so many things that I find unusually funny about like,
unusually funny. Yeah, I mean the suspects don't typically have their Google search history read out loud to them in court.
Yeah. Well, it's almost like I was gonna make the joke like if you're gonna kill somebody, you should at least do the research. And I was also gonna make the joke like, see, this is why I don't murder people because you don't know how much goes into it. There's so much stuff you have to do. I'm a very lazy person, Jack. I'm way too lazy to do all those things.
I feel like you're gonna get caught. You're do something like this. Yeah, there's absolutely no way you could get away with it.
There's like 50 million things you have to do in order not to get caught.
Yeah.
And if you're willing to do those 50 million things, like, okay, like I wish you could have put that towards something else.
Or just
you seem very passionate about that. Like if you were passionate about solving world hunger, that probably would have been a better legacy.
Yeah. You could also just, I don't know, not kill anyone.
That's usually how I go.
Or do the rational thing and commit a murder suicide. Because then you absolve yourself of any wrongdoing.
No, you still go to double hell.
Double hell? I mean, you're probably already living in hell if you go that route.
Yeah, but there's hell, and then there's double hell, and then there's triple hell for the really bad boys.
The town that we grew up in, remember there was that attempted murder-suicide about 10 years ago?
Yeah.
That was fucked up.
Yep.
But you never heard anything after the guy, like, he went to jail, or I remember, like, he had his court appearance the next day where he clearly just looks all sorts of drugged up, and he had his attempted... his botched suicide attempt very visible on his neck, and then you just never heard anything about that afterwards. But it was such a fucked up story when it happened.
Usually murders are fucked up stories
in our small little town.
Yeah, I mean, there's no town too small, but I'm just saying, like, again, my dry tone is going to get me in trouble because I'm so sarcastic all the time. So whatever, take this episode as you will. It's just, I don't even like being mad at people because it seems like too much work. There's so much that goes into it.
I know that's
it's not worth it. Like it drains so much of my energy that I could be doing other shit for.
Yeah.
Like
there are times where I've just been submissive to just and just doing what somebody is asking of me is there could be potentially like detrimental effects for me, even financially detrimental effects for me, but I'll do it just to get that person to go away and not bring it up again. Yeah. But that's because I'm also leaving because I just don't want to deal with it.
Yeah. I'm just non-confrontational, and murder kind of seems like a confrontational thing.
I mean, yeah, sure, I can see that. Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, sure.
No.
A little bit of confrontation, just a little bit,
just a little bit, just a little smidge.
Yeah,
like a sprinkle.
All right, very good. Let us do this.
What the fuck?
What the fuck?
What the fuck?
What the fuck? Language.
Hardly focused.
WCF, mate.
So another local story here in Boston. Martin Luther King Day was the other day. It was Monday. And a statue in Boston was unveiled. $10 million statue unveiled. That's supposed to represent, well, it's called The Embrace, and it's supposed to represent a photo of Coretta Scott King and Martin Luther King Jr. hugging. This being after he won the Nobel Peace Prize in 1964. That's according to the New York Post. And the statue that has been erected is, in my opinion, a tribute to the shock website known as Goatsy. because that's the first thing I think of when I see this. It looks like it's like two sets of interlocking hands and arms around a jelly bean. This sculpture makes no sense. I get what they're going for, but it just looks bizarre. And I haven't seen really anything that's been nice about it. The feedback has not been positive.
I'm watching it. I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah. Are you familiar with this? Did you know about this until I brought it up just now?
No. I mean, I heard about it, but I didn't. Okay, this is bizarre.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, Seneca,
why it's in what the fuck?
Seneca Scott, who's a cousin of Coretta Scott King, straight up says that it looks like a dick. That it's just a giant old dick.
Yeah.
Scott says, quote, according to the New York Post, the mainstream media was reporting on it like it was all beautiful because they were told they had to say that. But then when it came out, little boy pointed out, that's a penis. And everyone was like, yo, that's a big old dong, man.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus, it's a penis.
I mean, I'm looking.
Thank you for
a certain angle. If you view it, you should bring up like a screen share or whatever.
Oh, that's a good idea. Why don't I do that?
Because why not get demonetized for the penis that you're about to put on?
Yeah, since we are posting this to our YouTube channel at hardlyfocus.com/YouTube. Hold on, let me get the whole thing queued up here.
Because if you look at it from a certain angle, you're like, oh, okay, that's like it's like the hands and everything. Like it's okay, that's nice. And then like you can see it from like the other angle, and you're like, yep, it's just a big old floppy dick being held up by arms.
Okay. Yeah. So that's it. And it's frightening because there's no head.
Yeah.
How much of my personal information is being shown right now on my on my Google thing? Anyway, whatever. Yeah. So there's no head. There's
no head.
There's the hands.
Classic.
Right. And then it's like two jelly beans, or it's a turd. It's a turd being cradled. I get what they're I get what they're going for. I know what it's like supposed to represent. This is nightmare fuel, man. This is frightening.
Wait, isn't there another angle?
There are many angles I can try.
Oh yeah, so I'm looking at a different angle. Let me see if I can. I don't know how I can. Just like.
Oh, I don't think the one I found isn't really any better.
I'm just gonna.
There's this one. That one looks awful. That one looks like it's just
yeah, that's the one I just sent you.
Yeah, it's like deadlift.
That's like
that's deadlifting a turd right there.
I mean, like it. Yeah, that I see that more than the first one that you showed. I don't know why.
I guess it just depends on the angle.
Yeah, to me, I'm like, okay, I see like the hand. I mean, like maybe because like. This is fucking weird. This is a weird story. What the fuck?
Would it have been so wrong to have just like sculpted out their full bodies, or like from the waist up and include the heads?
I think they were trying to be artsy, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, like the only thing that I will give them credit for, positive feedback.
Mm-hmm.
The hands are incredibly detailed.
Oh, it's great.
The hands, the fingernails, even the buttons on Mr. King's jacket. There's a lot of detail there, but the rest of it is just frightening. The first thing I think of when I see this should not be goatsy.
Yeah.
But
they were trying to be artsy and like they were trying to be like a MC Escher type thing where it's just like, oh, look at the shapes.
Yeah, but I'm sure
you forget that shapes can also be dick shapes.
I mean, I know you went to art school. Can you think of other incredibly bizarre art installations like this that just totally missed the mark?
I feel like most sculptures end up like this.
Being in our fair city of Worcester, we have Turtle Boy.
Yep.
Which at quick glance looks like a human fucking a turtle.
Yep.
So there's that.
Yeah, it does.
By the way, Martin Luther King III approved the installation, and it was designed by conceptual artist Hank Willis Thomas for the organization Embrace Boston. It also goes on to say the artwork's funding was the result of a public/private fundraising partnership. However, it's unclear how much public money may have gone into the sculpture. I don't think the public, like if it was like one of those things that the public had a chance to see before it was actually assembled, the public wouldn't have enjoyed putting their money towards that.
It's like, I'm right there with you, man. Why they didn't even a torso, like something. Like, I don't understand why you wouldn't include a torso, a head, or something. Like I said, they're just trying to do the impossible triangle thing.
Seneca says $10 million were wasted to create a masturbatory mental homage to my legendary family members. It's that
really sucks.
It's deadlifting a turd. That's what it looks like. I know that it sounds incredibly disrespectful after Martin Luther King Day, but that is when I really take a look at it, that's what I see. Again, at quick glance, I'm reminded of goatsy. And I shouldn't be reminded of goatsy. I don't want to think about goatsy. No one should ever have to think about goatsy. Goatsy's the sort of thing that you delete from your search history.
Yeah.
So that's that.
That's a very strange, that's very weird. I mean, like you said, though, like the sculpture is really good.
The art or the actual like sculpting of the hands, the design of the hands, the detail on that. I'll give him credit for that.
They should have just made them full.
Just do the hands,
because if you're that talented with the hands, I don't know. And don't we have hands somewhere in Boston, like the two hands or whatever?
That's a good question.
Search hands Boston. Fuck, man, I'm so bad. I'm so out of shape. I haven't done one of these shows in a while, so I'm like.
Well, unfortunately, if I search hand sculpture Boston, every result that comes up is this goddamn jelly bean.
There's probably it's somewhere.
Short answer is
just imagine.
Short answer is I don't know. But people in Worcester not happy because Martin Luther King Day did not delay trash, as holidays tend to do around here. Whenever we have pretty much any holiday, then trash collection is delayed by one day, and that was not the case in our city. So people upset about that. Oh, people who on Monday saw the trucks going by and realizing they hadn't put their trash out, so they're pissed, and then they take to Reddit to complain about it. Martin Luther King was killed so our trash could be delayed by one day. Yeah, that was the message.
Why does it say I guess I'm a little bit behind on this whole woke thing. The title of the article is Woke 10 Million MLK Penis Statue Insults Black Community.
Seneca had complained. Seneca Scott, he complained when he was talking to the New York Post. He said that woke culture allowed the expensive abstract experiment to come to fruition.
Oh, okay. I get you.
Yeah. He said
That just took me a second to be like, I don't.
Yeah, he just said the woke algorithm is just broke. I don't know what else to tell you. Which I don't know. Like, did that? What's the concern there?
I guess it's kind of venturing back on what we were talking about before, how like everything has a different angle. Everybody's going to find something.
Yeah, like what happens if you reveal sculpture of MLK and it's him? It's just a sculpture of him, and then now people are offended. Is that what he's worried about? Like,
yeah, I don't know. I mean,
by just showing the arms, we're playing it safe.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's a very strange sculpture for sure. Like, I would have loved to see more. Like,
it's just gonna suck when that thing gets vandalized.
Yeah,
because we also can't have anything, regardless of whether or not it's nice. We just can't have anything.
No, you can't.
All right.
So maybe that's why it wasn't him, because it's vague enough that it wouldn't be a target. I don't know, man. People find ways for all sorts of shit. Why does this world suck?
Hardlyfocused.com/contact. Let us know what you think. You like how I did that?
That was good.
Thanks.
We live in a weird world. I'm just all over the place with my words tonight.
We live in a society.
We live in a society.
All right. Well, with that, Nate, thank you for being here. It's good to do this with you again. It's been a minute.
Yeah, it's been fun. Hopefully I don't get too canceled.
And watch The Last of Us on HBO, because
it's good.
Now I'm obviously biased because I will forever maintain that The Last of Us is the greatest video game ever made.
Okay.
And of course I go into any sort of adaptation, video game adaptation, hesitant. Because think of video game adaptions, things were made into movies.
Mm-hmm.
They're typically
Mario
not.
Brothers?
Yeah, exactly. They're typically not good.
Or they're great. Mario Brothers.
And the first episode of The Last of Us was absolutely perfect.
I think the key element is that you need to have video games made into a series. They can't just be one standalone thing, because Castlevania on Netflix wasn't terrible.
I've heard that. I've also heard that the anime series based off Cyberpunk 2077 was very good. But
I think if you try to just fit it all into like 1 hour, it's complicated.
The Last of Us, first episode, very faithful to its source material while taking some liberties to expand upon it without deviating and without throwing you off. It's not like how like Orange is the New Black, for example, like everything that happened in the book was covered in like the first episode, and then you got several seasons of the show out of it. No, this is staying true to the game, where if you've played the game, you're going to be familiar with everything that goes on, and then you'll be able to point out where they deviate, where the added content comes in, and then you can see how it affects the source material that they're pulling from. But in my opinion, at least with the first episode, they did very well.
I'll check it out, and it will be interesting to get my view, because I've never played the game.
Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah, you don't need to play the game to be to know what's going on or appreciate it.
Although I did we'll talk after.
Okay.
I don't want to spoil things for people.
Okay. That's a good idea. I will say, Mike will get the opportunity in a couple months to finally play The Last of Us, and I'm just very, very, because he's PC Master Race, and very excited at the prospect of someone who's never played this game before playing it for the first time. It's like playing GoldenEye for the first time.
Ta-da.
There you go. Full circle, baby. There it is.
Full circle.
There you go. At 1 hour and 15 minutes, we did it. All right, Nate. Thank you very much. I appreciate
Likewise.
you. Thank you for being here. It's always good to have you. And for the rest of you, thank you for listening. Again, hardlyfocus.com/contact. Really pushing it. Really, really, please. I just maybe that's my New Year's resolution, to engage with all 6 of our listeners just a little bit more.
What an episode to do it on, too. We've said a lot of things that are things.
A lot of things to piss people off?
Yeah, sorry. I mean, I apologize, but also, fuck you.
All right, we'll talk at you next time. See you, bye.
Goodbye.
Privatization may not have happened.